morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever, whenever you are joining me for today's deep stretch yoga class. My name is Kat, if you haven't joined me on the mat before, and it's lovely to have you here with me today, so thank you. Today's class is deep stretch. We are going to be moving nice and slow, but within those slow, held, deep stretches, there is going to be just a little bit of movement to kind of mobilize some of the joints within the poses. So when you're ready, we're coming round onto your back. Find a comfortable position to lie in. So that can be with the legs straight or the knees bent. Hands either to your side or on the belly and the chest. If you just take 5 breaths in. So as you take those 5 breaths, looking for the connection of the body, the mind, the breath together, settling into space, wherever that might be. Finding some slowness and stillness to get us ready. And then slide the feet up if you need to. Bring the knees in towards the chest and take a hug at the knees. We're going to have a little rock there from side to side. Draw some circles with the knees. So we get a little bit of movement, just getting a little rock roll around the very bottom of the back, and then circle the knees back the other way. Come to stillness. And then see how it feels to lie here with the knees squeezed in towards the chest. Then we're going to hold on with the right leg. You can hold with the shin or around the back of the thigh. And as you breathe out, squeeze the knee in towards you, nice and tight towards the chest. Inhale, let that squeeze go. So exhale, press the leg down and up and towards the chest. And then release. And see where you feel the movement. Is it just in the hip? Do you feel anything in the back? Maybe you even feel there's some pressure through the ribs. One more. And then just come back to hugging both knees in. Either side feels a little bit different. And then we're going to focus the movement on the left side. So again, hold the left leg wherever feels good for the knee, for the joints. And breathe out, squeeze in. And then let it go. So exhale, down and towards the chest and upwards. Inhale, release. Again, checking in, noticing where you feel it. Maybe it feels a little bit different on this side. You just mobilize around the bottom of the spine. So just take really that joint where the spine and the pelvis meet. And then come back to hugging in with both sides. And we'll note it. Just again, take a little scan, see what it feels like through that lower back, the spine, the ribs, with the hips. Now we balance the sides out. Maybe, does it feel any easier to lie here with the knees in towards the chest from before we started to move? Or is it harder? And then we're going to come up to a seated position. So just finding your way, whether it's rolling to the side or rolling forward. And then once you're round to seated, come up onto your hands and knees. So knees under the hips, hands under the shoulders. Take a little rock forwards and backwards. So we're trying to press the tops of the feet in towards the floor. As we get a bit of movement through the wrists, spreading the fingers out, pressing the pads of the fingers, the hands towards the floor. Bring yourself up, tuck the toes under, and then walk the hands in a little bit closer. See if you can rest on your fingertips this time and do exactly the same thing. So we're rocking forwards and backwards, but this time we're rocking so that the stretch changes, the movement changes with the foot. Changing how we work with the hands. And then walk back to tabletop. Take a couple of rounds of cat stretch. So exhale, move through the vertebrae, pressing the chest up. Inhale, draw the shoulders back, turn the tailbone up. So exhale, rounding upwards. Inhale, moving through the spine the other way. Maybe noticing movement with the hips, the pelvis, the shoulders as well. And then come forwards down into Sphinx pose. So resting on the elbows, feeling the support then where the body's connecting with the mat. And we're just going to take a little bit of activation through the muscles in the back to help lift you and feel supported as the chest shines out. We're coming back to moving through this pelvic and tailbone area. Breathing out, roll the tailbone under, so you start to peel the belly and the front of the pelvis up off the floor. And then as you breathe in, roll the tailbone back and roll the belly back into the mat. So exhale, rolling up, inhale, rolling down through the front of the pelvis. The muscle through the thighs, the front of the hip flexors coming up from the top of the legs through to the spine, then muscles in the back and the belly all working to take a little bit of movement there. One more in each direction. And then just settle, hold in stillness again. Find that little bit of activation through the back. Or maybe it already feels, just from that bit of movement in the spine, like we can open out through the front of the chest a little bit more without that activation. Okay, good. Take yourself back, come to child's pose. So letting the hips rest back towards the heels. We're going to bring the head to the floor. So if you can't get the head to touch the floor, you can make a little pillow with your hands, or if you prefer, put a block or cushion. Just something so that the head's actually got a surface to roll over. So the hands or the arms are going wherever feels comfortable unless you need them to support the head. And then take some little rock and rolls over the forehead. So we roll the head one way and then roll the head the other way. Seeing if you can bring your head round onto the side, maybe even bringing the temple in towards the floor. So no need to rush, just take your time. Let's do one more to each side. And then pause, come to stillness, head in the center, and find a comfortable position to rest in as best you can in child's pose. We're just holding in stillness now. Exhale, slowly bring yourself up to kneeling so that we can take the feet out and come into seated position with the legs in front, and we're going to work on our forward fold before we think about finishing. So the legs are stretched out in front, they can be together or in line with the hips for today. Remember, if you want a little bit of support under the knees or under the hips, make sure you take it. Breathe in. And then as you breathe out, we're moving from the hips, bringing the belly forwards. Breathe in, move yourself back up into seated position. So exhale, come forwards. Just walking the hands down. We're not using the arms to pull us. We're getting the movement to come from the hip joint. And then walk back up. Follow the breathing, just moving in your own time. Do that one more time. And this time as you walk forwards, see if you can just hold it here. Again, try not to use the hands to pull, the arms to pull you forward. Just let the arms relax. Shoulders relaxed. Sit yourself up. Slide the hips forward so you can come back down towards the floor. Opening the arms out. Have a little bend in the knees. And then take a nice easy windscreen wipe. So the knees don't have to come all the way down towards the floor. If they want to touch the mat, then great, bring the knees down. Slowing the moving down just a little bit. Exhale as you roll. Inhale, breathe, just hold it wherever you've got to. And then exhale, roll the other way. Go for one more roll to either side. Come back into the middle. And then find your comfortable place to lie in again. So maybe it's knees bent, maybe it's with the legs stretched out this time. Hands can find a comfortable place to rest. And we are coming back to our 5 conscious breaths in and out. When you finish those 5 breaths, give yourself a little bit of movement. Walking the feet in if you need to, so you can roll around onto your side. And just make your way up to a seated position. Find any position that feels comfortable to sit in. And we'll bring the hands together to at our center, our heart. Bow the head to your fingers. Acknowledge your effort. Just give yourself a little bit of movement whilst stretching, taking care of the body and the mind. And then we'll seal our practice in together with Namaste. Oh, excuse me. I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, then give it a thumbs up. Remember, you can subscribe to the channel as well, and then you'll know when our next video comes out, and you can join me for another session on the mat. All right, take care now. Thank you very much. Bye.